Hi, welcome to the Closet Philosophy Podcast. This is Jennine. I'm a personal stylist.
And this is Kristen. I'm a fashion writer, and we're here to uncover the ways that your personal style is so much more than just clothes.
Whether you realize it or not, what you wear touches on science, psychology, culture, politics, and so much more.
Today.
Okay,
We're talking about
wearing the wrong thing.
wearing the wrong thing. What happens when you go somewhere and you're like, oh shit, I wore the total wrong thing? Because it happened to me recently.
Yeah, tell us about it.
So this is my story. So a really good friend of mine, invited me over to dinner like last minute. We hadn't seen each other in a long time, and she had some friends from Greece visiting. And everybody knew each other except for me. And I wasn't really thinking about this going into it. I wasn't like, oh, I'm the odd person out. Like, I have to fit in. I wasn't like thinking about it consciously. I was just like so excited to see her and to meet these people because she was excited to introduce them to me. And I was just like excited about the night. So I put on this like very bright jumpsuit. I should have worn it. I should have worn it for this episode.
Yeah. I mean, maybe next time.
I'll wear it for the next episode. Okay. So then you have to tune in.
Yeah, exactly.
So it's like a white jumpsuit, but it looks like someone took a giant paintbrush and painted like bright all the primary colors on it, like red, blue, green, yellow. Like I was a literal splash of color. And so we are. I was the first one to arrive, and she was cooking. I was kind of trying to help, and then everybody arrived at once, and there were like the 5 women from Greece, and they all like kind of filed in, and every single one of them was wearing black.
Wow.
And so was Marie, who was hosting. Hi, Marie. and so one other friend also. They were all wearing black, and I was wearing this like bright thing, and I was like, oh my God, I mean, I didn't have like a total meltdown. Like I didn't want to go necessarily hide in the corner, but I did have this feeling of like, oh my God, I really wish I could borrow something black of Marie's right now.
Yeah.
And that was sort of how I handled it. Like when everybody like sat down and there was like a moment where no one was talking, I was like, Marie, can I borrow something black?
Yeah.
Try to make a joke out of it, and everyone laughed, and it was kind of funny.
Yeah.
But
just like hold up for a second. Okay. Because like I'm trying to wrap my head around like, I mean, I don't know. I always think it's weird. Like, you know, okay, so someone in my family, like my sister-in-law, she has like this friend group, and like they like do things like they all wear the same thing and get photos taken with their their tea kettle pose, and they're all all in a line when they're all wearing the same thing, and they do that. Sister? My sister-in-law.
Okay.
Yeah, and they do these like trips or they parties or whatever, and they all wear the same thing. Wow. And multiple times. And so and I just am like, I cannot wrap my head around that. Like how, like what? And like, but apparently this is a thing.
Well, I don't think that was on purpose in my case. I think that I think it was partly because they were traveling. They were traveling from another country, so it's kind of normal to I mean, I like to wear black when I'm traveling because it kind of camouflages stuff. You don't have that many clothes with you if you get them dirty. I honestly don't think it was on purpose.
Yeah, I don't. But okay, so
that's a whole other animal.
And then one time when I was like a temp worker at Williams Sonoma, afterwards we had like drinks, or not drinks, but like we went to like Hog Oyster to like, I don't know, I guess we were having drinks, and like one of the ladies who actually worked at Williams Sonoma, the headquarters, not the store, and she was like, the weird thing about Williams Sonoma, I don't know if it's still like this, but like at that time, like everybody there was blonde, like they were the blonde or Asian. Like, there was no, like, brunettes. There was no, like, I was, like, the anomaly there. And I was a temp worker. And it was, like, very strange. And then so she was, like, she had went to a wedding in wine country over the weekend. And every single person at that wedding, the woman was blonde and the man had dark hair.
Oh.
And in all of the pictures and all of the things, they all looked exactly the same.
Wow.
And it just was like, and it just really stuck out to me as being very like strange, like a group of people that just are so, I guess, so in tune with each other. I mean, maybe I just am not social enough, or maybe I'm just not cool enough. I don't know.
No,
But
I get what I see what
Yeah.
you're saying. But I just want to say that I like, I mean, I already said it, but I don't think it was like, this was a group of very creative and individualistic women. Like one, I think two of them were piercers, professional piercers. One was a professional jewelry maker. They were all like, in every other way, like very unique and interesting looking. It just so happened that everyone was wearing black on this particular occasion, you know? And so, I mean, I can't imagine that they all would have been like, wear your black outfit. I don't really think that was the case.
Yeah, maybe.
But yeah, I found myself just like sweating a lot that night.
Yeah.
Because I was just like, I'm the only person who hasn't met everyone else, and I'm the only person who's not involved in, like, they were all kind of like working, doing projects together and stuff. But anyway, the thing that it made me think about and that we kind of discussed is that it's actually, it's not like I wish, I mean, and I kind of did settle myself down, and I just was like, yeah, I'm just wearing something different from everyone else. It's not the end of the world. But like evolutionarily, like it is scary to be the odd person out, because like that sense of belonging is an evolutionary necessity. It's not just kind of like a nice to have. It's actually like a survival. It's a mechanism for survival to belong, because ancient humans lived in small, like small groups, and they were reliant on the group for everything, for like hunting a larger animal, protection from animals, procreation, socialization, like everything. They were reliant on this smaller group, for literal survival. So that, I think that's the like instinct that kind of kicks in when you're just like, oh my God, I'm different from the rest, you know? So it's kind of like it's a bit of a feat to overcome it, you know? Like it's not necessarily a really small thing. So I just thought it was like interesting, like, you know, and if you feel like, you know, you're someplace and you wore the wrong thing, you're not weird for freaking out a little bit about it. You know?
I mean, and that's the thing, is like, you know, like unconsciously we tend to gravitate towards familiarity, or people who are like us. I was reading in this one book, it was about emotions, but it was talking about the set of Planet of the Apes. And it was interesting because on the set, during like lunch breaks and things like that, like the gorillas would all sit and have lunch together, and the chimpanzees would have lunch together, and it was just kind of like the different.
That's wild.
Even though they were costumes,
Right?
They would become like, we're the chimpanzees and we're the gorillas, and you know, and all of this kind of stuff. And they were like groups, right? And they would gravitate towards each other, and so it's like probably like, you know, people tend to want to belong or have some kind of sense of belonging, and that kind of outward appearance like creates that sense of belonging. And so, but like at the same time, it's like we don't live in that world anymore. Like it's not life or death if you wear the wrong thing, or if you aren't like part of a group. Like we're all part of a group. We're all in the group already. So we don't need to do extra to be more part of the group. And so this whole kind of like, what if you wear the wrong thing? It's like, it's really like a mental thing.
It is. It's definitely a mental exercise. It's also kind of a misnomer on purpose. Like, I don't really think there are that many occasions that you wear the wrong thing. Like, I think that...
Well, we live in California, so...
Yeah, we can really wear whatever we want.
It's pretty much free reign here, so...
Yeah. And it's also just an exercise to be like, well, if you wear something different from everyone else, it's not it's not necessarily wrong. It's just like different. You just might have to deal with it mentally a little bit.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, a lot of times, like, people feel, okay, so here's a question that I get a lot. It's like, how do I make sure that I wear the right thing to a certain
Like an event.
to an event, to a dinner, to a conference, to what have you. And interestingly enough, like, I don't tell people, oh, well, you have to wear a turtleneck to go to a podcast interview. Like, you know, like I'm wearing a turtleneck right now. And so, like, I don't give people like formulas to wear at certain occasions. What we do is we walk through like how they want to feel.
Oh, that's so good. Yeah.
Do you want to have authority? Do you want to be approachable? Do you want to show your personality? Do you want to hide your personality? What do you want to say in whatever situation you're in? You know, for example, I use this example a lot. There was a day where I was doing a lot of style sessions. And so that day I was wearing like this big like polka dot outfit. It was just this big maxi skirt, this big oversized shirt, and it had like jewelry and all of the kind of stuff. And it was perfect. I wanted to say like, oh, Jennine is creative, Jennine knows style, and then da-da-da-da-da. Like, she's like bold, she wants to be seen. That was my message. And so that's what I wore. In the evening, I was going to this political event where it was like discussing, you know, ICE in the neighborhoods in San Francisco. And so for me to wear that outfit to that situation would not have made sense, because in the polka dot outfit, I was like, look at me, look at me, look at me. But I wanted to say, I'm here to listen. So wearing something more subdued, more drawn back. And so these are like different things that you want to say about yourself. So I wore I actually did wear a camouflage jacket. I wore a camouflage jacket. I wore
really
like
blending in.
really blending in. Yeah. You know, but also kind of sending a message like, here to fight back or something, you know, like, and then also like I had like a cream colored sweater and pair of jeans, like, and so I was just like really much more subdued in a sense. And so that is just like anticipating like how I want to feel. Now, what a lot of people make a mistake with is that they go in like, well, I want to fit in, or I want people to think that I'm cool, or I want, what are they going to think about me? And when you start to get into that mental space of like, what are they going to think about me? That's when you end up doing the changing before you leave the house 3 times. Because
The vortex
of like, oh, well, like, I'm not going to be cool, and and so there's this like concept called like the internal locus of control and external locus of control. So when you have an internal locus of control, that is like you focus on what you can control. Like the world can be going crazy, but I'm going to stay cool. Or like I can control what I say. I can't control what you say, right? And then people who have the external locus of control, they're the people who say like, oh, they made me do this, or I'm mad because of them, or like
it's not my fault, it's everyone else's fault
for the reason why I feel this way and stuff like that. And so in people who have an internal locus of control, they are more centered in themselves. They're more grounded.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Because they're focused on what they can control, right? It's the same thing with getting dressed. If you're focused on the external locus of control with your style, then it's like you're always going to be second guessing. You're always going to be trying to anticipate.
Because you don't know what other people are going to think. You have no control. You actually don't have any control.
You have no control.
Other people think or do. Yeah.
Yeah. And you know, even if you did please them or try to please, even if you wore the things that were perfect for the event, you may or may not please them. And it's like really none of your business. Right. Yeah. And so that's why I say, like, what do you want to say? And it's like, and, you know, fashion is communication. You do want to say something with how you dress, but it's like kind of the difference between saying something that you have in your heart to say and saying what you think other people want you to say. And like those are 2 different things.
It comes back to that people pleasing idea.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
comes back to that people pleasing. And
Yeah.
so, and when you come in from a place where, like, I want to say this, like, so in the case of you with a jumpsuit, like, you want to say about your style, like, this is what I want to say about myself. Like, I'm creative, I'm funky, like, I'm, you know, this is who I am.
Yeah.
Then that's unshakable.
Yeah.
You know what
That's a really nice reframing. That's a really awesome reframing. And it's such a better way to look at getting dressed than, you know, what we were talking about before, like what am I fixing? Like instead of saying like, you know, how can I make this flattering? How can I look smaller? How can I whatever? Like how do I want to feel when I'm wearing it? I'm going to use that. That's really good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so, this is like the thing. It's like, you know, and when you are wearing the things that you want to say about yourself, then it doesn't matter what other people say or think
Yeah.
and stuff like, and, you know, and we were talking about this earlier with like this brand that approached me, and it's
Yeah.
a very popular makeup brand that I actually bought their stuff. I actually, with my own money, like I liked their stuff.
Yeah.
And they liked my videos. They were performing well for them. And they were like, oh, that's great. Can you take out your septum piercing? And I was like, fuck no.
That is so obnoxious.
Yeah.
I mean, I just can't even believe that.
Yeah. So
Oh my God. Do you remember we had that guest who was like a resume expert? She had like red hair.
yeah. Casey.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And she had that experience too at a job when she was younger. A coworker said to her, I think it'd really be better, like people would take you more seriously if you took out your nose ring. And she was young and impressionable at the time. So she was like, well, am I allowed? And they were like, well, you're allowed, but I just think it'd be better if you, so she did take it out, and I think it eventually closed. And then when she was older, I don't know if she was changing jobs. I can't remember exactly the story, but she was like, I remember she was like, I'll be right back to her family. She's like, I'll be right back. And they were like, where are you going? Oh, I'm just going to run an errand. But she was in her mind, she was like, I'm getting my nose pierced again because fuck all of the people who are saying like I shouldn't have my nose pierced.
Yeah.
And she went and did it again. And it like felt like such a grounding identity thing for her to like take that back. Because she realized like,
Yeah.
to take it out in the first place was not really necessary, or, you know, maybe someone took her more seriously, but I don't know. I think it's more important to hold on to your integrity and like be who you actually are.
I mean, if you are sacrificing yourself, how can anyone take you seriously?
Yeah.
If you don't take yourself seriously,
If you're not owning yourself energetically and you're like, you know, trying to please everyone else at work. That's not going to be, it's going to have the opposite effect of what you're hoping for.
Exactly. And this is the kind of thing that I want to impart on all of you listeners, and you, Kristen, is that take yourself seriously. Say what you want to say, and trust that what you have to say, what's in your heart, is the right thing.
You know, yeah. And that actually reminds me, like, sometimes people ask me for advice about style because
you look amazing.
I mean, no, thank you. Thank you. But I have never been a stylist, and I don't think I have a lot of skill in like helping other people get dressed necessarily. But recently a friend at the gym asked me, she said her stepson is getting married and she needed something to wear. And so she asked my advice. And I was like, I said, well, what do you like? I was like, well, what do you like to wear? Like, what makes you feel good? You know? And so we started talking about it. And this other woman was there, and she was like, yeah, I told her, you know, because basically she was saying, I'm the stepmom, I'm not the mom. So she was like, I don't want to draw attention to myself. Like, I want to be like, you know, I want to play my appropriate role or whatever, you know. And I was like, well, it's not an insignificant role. Like, you're still a stepmom. Like, don't wear a like sequin mother of the bride situation, you know. But my point is this like a couple other women there were saying like, well, yeah, like be subdued, like go to White House Black Market, go to there's a store in Santa Rosa called Soft Surroundings, and it's a clothing store, and they were recommending that she go to places like that are just like, they might have a couple cute things here and there, honestly, but like I just, in my mind, frumpy is the word that comes to mind. Like, I'm sorry to say that word, but anyway, we talked, and I showed her some brands that I like, because it turns out we have a very similar style. Like, she likes print, she likes sort of a bohemian vibe, but not too hippie. And I was like, oh, well, that's my vibe too. Like, and so I recommended to her all the places that I like to shop online, or like the accounts on Instagram that I like to follow. And she found something and she ordered it. We don't know if it's going to fit yet or not, but that does go back to like, how do you want to feel? Like, she didn't want to feel like she was trying to take the place of the mother of the groom, right? But she wants to wear something that's festive, and that is, and that's what I was trying to impart to her too, is like, it's a celebration. You still want to dress like you're celebrating your stepson's marriage, so don't be like subdued, like we're celebrating, right? So anyway, it reminded me of your
exactly.
How do you want to feel?
And how do you want to feel?
What message are you sending?
What message do you want to send? And and there is an art to learning like the visual language of clothing. Like, there is like vernacular in visual language. Certain colors have certain meanings in certain cultures, and certain garments have certain cultural associations and in moments, and they say different things, and so, and the more you learn about that, the more like attuned you can get, and the more like you can communicate on like a more sophisticated level. Yes, but at the same time, it all boils down to, what do you want to say about yourself? And just, and in the case of your friend, it's like your friend wanted to be herself. And that's important, and that's important. And so, and in her case, it's like, no matter what she wears, like, as long as she is grounded in who she is, like, it almost doesn't matter. So, because like, maybe the other mom, maybe the birth mother, or the mother is, shops at Soft Surroundings, and maybe that's, and so what is she going to try to be less like obvious and the Soft Surroundings person, is this like are they going to coordinate, like, you know what I mean? Like, no, like, that doesn't make any sense. And so, and if the stepmother is just naturally more stylish, then I'm sure that
or
the
more
kid,
like blingy, or more like whatever she is, she's gonna do her thing, and that doesn't need to dictate what the stepmother of the groom is gonna wear.
And it sounds like she has a good relationship with the kid.
I think that was the impression that I got.
And so like, and I'm sure that the kid knows that. I mean, the kid, but the bride or the groom knows that, and like, and they are anticipating that she will show up as herself. And so, I mean, some people are weird and they want to control what everybody's wearing.
Yeah, especially like, when it comes to weddings, who knows? But like,
I'm just guessing. Like, if they are, grounded in who they are, they're probably going to want other people to be grounded in themselves as well. So,
it's like this tension between like wearing, being like appropriate. You want to be somewhat appropriate for the occasion and the place, but also be yourself, be comfortable with who you are and what you're wearing. It's like that, finding that balance takes practice, I think.
I think it takes practice, and also like, but it's also the same thing as like different aspects of yourself. You show up in different places. You know what I mean? There's like, we're all multifaceted. We're not the same person. Like, me and you interacting is not going to be the same as like me and my husband, and with you and your husband, like it's we all have like different sides of ourselves, right? And absolutely. So, and it's just a matter of like finding that confidence in whatever aspect of yourself that you want to show to that situation, to that person, how comfortable you feel with them, how vulnerable you want to feel, like how, because maybe some people you don't feel comfortable around them. And so maybe you dress in a way that's more closed off, or and then some people that you feel like really comfortable around and you want them to see you, and then you dress in a more vulnerable way. Maybe you show up in clothes that are a little bit more experimental,
Yeah.
or something along those lines. So there's no like right or wrong answer.
Yeah.
It's just like a matter of like learning how to trust yourself, and just like trusting what you like, trusting what you want to say. And that takes time and practice.
Yeah, it's a learning process. And then if you do feel like you wore something that you end up not being comfortable in, then it's just a mental exercise of like being like, okay, my life is not threatened right now. Everything's cool. Everything's good. Like,
yeah.
I have food, shelter, and
Yeah, everything is cool. Yeah. I mean, there are times where, like I think at the last event that we did together, like, and
For Crossroads,
yeah, and like I wore like all these pearls and like this black satin dress, and I like look back at the pictures. I was like, that wasn't my favorite outfit.
Oh, really? Really?
And and I was just like, okay, it's like you can't slay every day. It happens a lot, you know, and it's okay. Like, I don't think that anybody was like, oh, Jennine wore, like, what was Jennine wearing with the loafers, with the slip dress,
I don't think so. I think everyone was probably thought it was a cool outfit.
Yeah. Well,
we're our own worst critics at the same time. Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, that's the thing. So I would love to hear from you, like a time, maybe to the listeners here, like a time where you decided that it didn't matter if you showed up in the wrong thing or not.
Yeah. Or your fashion disasters. Just kidding.
Your fashion disasters.
Yeah. If you wore something that felt wrong and how you navigated it.
Yeah, and how you navigated it, and how you came out the other side, because like that's just as important as the times when you nailed it,
Yeah, absolutely.
And so just like knowing that everything's gonna be cool.
It's all good.
It's all good.
It's cool.
Yeah. All right.
Like us, follow us, comment below. Do all the things.
Yay. Okay. All right.
Bye.
Take care. Bye bye.